How to build DevTools when LLMs improve so quickly. Hi, I'm Steve. I am a co-founder of a startup called Val Town. Val Town is a collaborative web IDE to build and scale serverless apps. To give you some context on where I'm coming from about building LLMs for developer tools, let me show you about the two main LLMs we have embedded in the Val Town product already. I'm going to start with Townie because it takes longer. I wrote this prompt before and worked out some of the kinks with the imports and bugs between React versions ahead of time. You can see here it's doing a chain of thinking prompt, and we're using Claude 3.5 Sonnet. This UI is really heavily inspired by Claude artifacts, as a lot of the other tools like this are. So here, some imports, it's doing a React component on the front end. And then here we have this clever pattern to also have a server in the same file. Here it's creating a SQLite table. And we're making a chat app for this talk. And hopefully it'll get the QR code on the screen so you guys can take out your phones, scan this QR code, and then participate in the chat. Maybe send me some questions or comments as we go along. Sup, homies. This is how much long I have in this talk because I only have 10 minutes. I should remember to update that number in the actual demo. All right, the other AI we have is a classic GitHub Copilot experience. Let me refresh the page. So I have a comment describing what I want, and then here online it'll give me some options, and I can toggle through them with my mouse or with my keyboard. This looks good, but it doesn't set the content type. So let's go in here and give it a little bit of context, and there we go. That's the basics of LLMs at Val Town today. But every day, my users ask me for more. They're using all these tools on the left, which have all these great patterns here on the right, and use all these brand new models, which are dropped every single day. And it drives me and my team a little crazy keeping up with how fast everything is moving. It's just like the rate of improvement, when you step back and think about it, is crazy. We're at like in the last 3 months, the cost of O1 level intelligence fell 27 times. We're just talking about cost here. In a year and a half, the cost of GPT-4 level intelligence dropped 1,000x. It seems like the run rate is like 100x, like predictable cost for same level of intelligence per year. For context, Moore's Law, which is this crazy force that's been fueling unbelievable growth for our whole industry for decades, that was a crazy exponential 2x improvement every 18 months. This is 100x a year, 1,000x every 18 months. It's like the tectonic plates underneath us are just like constant earthquakes. And so what is one to build? If you're building in developer tools, if you're building for developers in an age where everything is changing so quickly, the way programmers are programming is changing every day. Every time a new model drops, programmers are programming differently. And there are so many tools using AI in innovative ways. What is one to build such that the thing they build isn't immediately out of date by the time it ships, or 3 months later, or 1 year later when a new model comes out that's 100 times cheaper that makes all the assumptions of the thing you built not apply anymore. And so fundamentally, I think that there are two ways you can go. You can vertically integrate in a closed way, or you can play more nicely in an open ecosystem. And historically, we have done the vertical closed thing. And I think Townie is a really good example of the vertically integrated closed thing. And Townie there are benefits to the vertically integrated closed thing. It's kind of like, Apple is the epitome of it. It's just like one beautiful platform. It's a walled garden. All the rough edges are smoothed out. And you don't need to sign up for other tools. There's just one tool that like lets you do everything. In Townie, it's your IDE, it's your collaboration, it's your version control. So it's Git and GitHub, and it's deployment and hosting. Continuous integration is kind of embedded in there, and scale. So all you have to do is like buy a custom domain and point it at your Val Town Townie creation. You don't have to sign up for any other tool. Oh, and there's database included too. And we have auth primitives as well. So it really what one person can do, one person who barely knows how to code can create in Townie. It's unbelievable. And you don't have to sign up for any other tools. It's all right there. You can deploy on your phone. Oh, I never went back to this. Oh no, I did. I forgot that I did. What I didn't do, that what I wanted to show you guys is how fast Val Town deploys, which I guess I did in the other thing. Command Enter. So if you refresh, whoa. Oh no, that's the title. I wanted to edit the H1. So now if you refresh your tab, it's like fully deployed. Okay. But on the other hand, Townie is like stale. It only edits one val at a time. It only works with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. It can't edit files. It doesn't do agentic capabilities. It can't search and then edit. It's like, I'll go back to this list. We just can't keep up in this closed vertical way when everything is moving at this 100x, 1000x a year kind of thing. And people are raising mega rounds to compete on all the layers of the stack. It just doesn't feel like we can keep up in this vertical way. We'll be bad at everything and customers will keep asking us for stuff. So instead, there's the open horizontal approach, which it seems like a lot of people are doing very successfully. All of the local IDEs, Cursor, VS Code, Windsurf, Klein, Aider, those all work with GitHub, Git, and Netlify, Vercel, Supabase. Like they work with everything. They're just a local text editor. And then you have Lovable and Bolt, which do the database stuff with Supabase and the auth stuff with Clerk and the deployment stuff with Vercel and Netlify. Netlify, I think, like they were the ones who really pioneered this authless deploy that you can claim later that Vercel has then copied. And that's really the epitome of this open horizontal play with everybody. You focus on your level of the stack and then you play with everybody below and above you. So which path is the right path for you? Obviously, it depends. I think there are definitely the companies that have certain customers that want more vertically integrated stuff. I think for us, given the rate of improvement, horizontal and integrate with everybody is the right way forward. So what does that mean practically for us? Ironically, the answer is developers. Instead of building products for consumers that are polished and tightly integrated, we should build APIs for developers, because ultimately that will enable developers like the developers at Bolt or the developers at Cursor to integrate with Val Town and play nicely with everybody. Ultimately, developers are the answer of being future-proof of what you're building in an age of everything getting 100x better a year. So you may have seen, we just released this brand new product surface, projects, which are groups of vals. Because previously vals were limited to one file at a time, and version control was one file, forks and pull requests one file. Now you can have groups of vals that are collectively branchable, feature preview branches, fully live, forks, pull requests, merges, merge upstream, all the stuff you need to work on complicated stuff. And because of this shift in our thinking from closed to open, even though this is a brand new surface area, the first thing we're doing is not updating Townie to be able to edit projects. That's what our users are asking for. We're not doing that. Instead, we're fast tracking the project's API. It's in development right now. We have a couple routes out, but it should be done by the next couple of weeks to enable us to play with everybody. This API is going to power a Fuse editor, so you can just mount it on your local file system and then just use Cursor, use Windsurf, Aider, VS Code, whatever, and it will just edit local file. It'll think it's editing local files, but on every save, it's deploying to Val Town, which takes 100 milliseconds, and then you're in a feature preview branch that's fully live on every save. Share it with anybody, collaborate with anybody. You get all the beautiful Val Town features, but with your favorite editor, or you want Vim or VS Code or Emacs, whatever the fuck you want, now you can get it via API. So that's the benefit of doing the open thing. And then we're taking it one level deeper. The next version of Townie we're going to build in user space. That means we're going to build it in a Val Town project itself in such a way that any Val Town user could have built it, or could just fork our project and run a copy of Townie in their Val Town account, which can edit other Val Town projects in their account, or it could edit itself in their own Val Town project. Probably you'd want to edit one branch of Townie with a different branch of Townie, so you don't, loop yourself and accidentally DOS yourself. But this is really exciting and will allow people to add their own models, add their own UI patterns. We'll just be able to collaborate as a company in user space, which is great for dog fooding, and with the community. And of course, the next fork YC startup craze won't be forking VS Code. They'll be forking Townie in user space and applying to YC to start the next billion-dollar thing. All right, last thing. It's not one or the other with open versus closed. I think you can do both. If you remember, I showed you Townie, which was closed and vertically integrated, but then there was our Copilot-like experience. And that stood the test of time, and it was cheap to build. And so we just today released select text to prompt, which I will show you really briefly. Let's see, I'll convert this. Look at this. Oh, I'll also do Command L. Command K, interesting. The shortcut isn't working, which is hilarious. Okay. Rewrite as Tailwind CSS. Okay. There are some rough edges to work out, but it's still pretty awesome. And it was very quick for us to build and we think maintain. And both, so the first thing, the Copilot thing that's powered by Codium, we built it as a code mirror plugin that's open source. So we're collaborating with the community. So even though it's vertically integrated, it's open. And the thing you just saw is a plugin from the Marimo team that we're sending pull requests upstream to. So even though it's closed, it's more open than Townie was. And then of course, Townie in user space is very open, even though it's like somewhat pointed to Val Town. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve. If you want to find Val Town or me, this is how you find me on the internet. I'm Steve Krause on Twitter, GitHub, Blue Sky, whatever. Thanks.